If you're tired of pretending you're okay while your body and mind are screaming for help, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unmasked Health. Let's talk about something uncomfortable today. We're going to talk about adult liars. Not just like children lies. I'm talking like lies that will affect somebody's life forever. So we're not talking about just like little white lies, subtle lies. I think it's a topic that's not talked about. I think people are too scared to talk about it. People are worried about calling somebody out, but it has been. I had a viewer reach out to me by email wanting me to kind of approach this, and I've thought about it for a couple of weeks, and I thought, well, now's the time. So we're going to talk about it. Why do adults lie? Well, one reason is because they're trying to get out of something. People are fearful of consequences of their own actions. They are worried about their reputation and their pride. There are some adults who would rather manipulate the situation, the context of the situation, than to take accountability. And then there's the shame or insecurity. So they just lie. And I will say this, there are some adults who will tell a lie, but they don't have bad intentions behind those lies. Maybe, it was a moment of weakness. Maybe it was a moment of uncertainty, maybe whatever. The thing is that if you are a grown adult and you know that you've lied, and look, we as adults know when we're lying. We just do. The thing is that when you know that you have lied, and even if you have not been caught in that lie, you should still take accountability for that. You set the precedent of those around you. It shows a lot more of your character when you tell the truth, even if you have to swallow your pride. My opinion, and for what it's worth, I feel like most of my audience would agree that lying will absolutely change the course of someone's life. In my opinion, you have those adult liars who turn out to be bullies and narcissistic, manipulative behavior, gaslighting. This is going to be kind of a 5-part series about, forgive me, give me just 1 second. Sorry. The truth about people. And when I say people, adults. So this is the first part, is trying to understand adult liars. The most common lie that an adult will tell, when I was doing my research, the most common one, and I am so guilty about this, is I'm fine, I'm okay. And those who do say that are trying to make sure that those around us are comfortable and that we are not being a burden to the people around us. However, that messes with your mental health at the end of the day. If you are covering up and saying, hey, I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm good, things could be worse, you are lying to yourself and you're lying to those people around you. Open, honest communication. And look, a lot of times people are very private, and I get that. Some of us are extremely private and we don't want to talk about our problems. We don't want to feel like we're trauma dumping on somebody. And I am thankful for the people that I have around me because I have got a very strong support system. I am very blessed in that aspect of my life. Even though I am quite the introvert, I am very sincere and, well, I find myself to be very sincere and very cognitive of those behaviors around me. I'm very observant, and I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm really saying that because that is what I have heard several times from other people, strangers that I barely know, patients that I had just met for the first time, people that I have talked to through my show now. That is one thing that I have been told. So I feel like I am not the minority, however. I feel like I am part of the majority group of adults who are very observant but also at the same time are very private. Another big lie that we as adults say is, I forgot. Well, there are times when we are all, listen, we are all stressed to the max. Life is just lifing extremely hard for everybody right now. Even though it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better anytime soon, because if you're watching the news, then everybody's, worried. There are times when you truly do forget things. And as we age, we do tend to forget things. I'm not going to, tell my age, but I am past 30. I'm past 40. But anyway, I genuinely do forget. I have reminders set up on my phone. I could not tell you the countless things on my calendar on my phone because I do forget. And stress plays a big role in that. Lack of sleep plays a big role in that. But I feel like some adults who say, I forgot, are lying about that. They are not being truthful about that. They are procrastinators. Or they don't want to take responsibility for a situation and they're going to wait for you to either forget that you've requested something from them or they're going to just hope that you just do it on your own, and figure it out on your own. And I feel like that a majority of you would agree with that. Another big lie that I hear is that wasn't my fault. And listen, there are truths behind these statements. There are truths behind these statements. Don't hear me wrong when I say but these are also the biggest lies that adults will tell. So let's just keep going. The other big lie is I never said that. How many times have y'all heard people say, I never said that? And then that's just part of gaslighting. And I will go more into detail about gaslighting in another episode, manipulation, narcissistic behavior, because that's a big episode. The other one is I'll get back to you. And unintentionally, a lot of us do forget that we were supposed to respond to a text. I am so guilty of that. I read a text and I close my phone out because I'm in the middle of something. I have got to learn not to do that when I'm busy, not to even open my phone, or look at a text message or an email because I will forget, truly, honestly. But a lot of times when it's with bad intentions, when adults say that, they had no intentions of getting back to you. They're just hoping that you forget. And that goes all back to an adult being accountable, for their actions. I think a lot of adults lack accountability and they lack responsibility. Um, and it all goes back into manipulation at that point. I think that people become expert manipulators at some point. But that also rolls back into, well, they're protecting their pride and their ego, basically. And maybe they are shameful because they knew when they said it they were lying. That's the other thing. And down the road, maybe the next day, an hour, as soon as they said it, they became shameful about it. But they're still not mature enough to take accountability and say, hey, my bad. I did remember, I just didn't take the time, or whatever. Or I just flat out lied about it, I think a lot of times that we as adults have a hard time saying, yeah, I lied about that. We hold children to those standards. Um, we hold children to, if they lie about something, they get punished. So I'm not really sure what happens between childhood and adulthood, other than I think everybody's childhood is different. and maybe they don't have the same morals. Maybe morals are not taught anymore. Quite frankly, I don't think they're taught as like they were my generation. Um, I was taught by the Bible, and that's one of the 10 Commandments is thou shalt not lie. Um, I don't think people take that serious anymore. I don't think there's not been really any reason to take any of that serious. We are living in the generation now of, and when I say generation, I don't mean one group of people. Maybe I should say era. We're living in the era over the past several years of the trophy generation. And therefore, nobody is held accountable for anything. A baseball team goes out and 8-year-olds, I'm just speculating here, okay? I'm just giving an example. 8-year-olds, there's no losers anymore. Like both teams win. And so the bad player is never held accountable for being a bad player. The person, in education, the person that didn't study goes and, is late for class all the time, didn't pick up a book, is struggling. I'm not talking about the smart kids. I envy those that are super smart and never have to pick up a book. But those that are not like myself, that are not book smart and, have to struggle and study a lot, they make a D or F, but and all Fs or all Ds or whatever, but they're still passed to the next grade, just like the one that's got a 4.0, because again, we're living in the trophy era. So I think that plays a big role in it, but I also think that it is a taught behavior. Um, it is a learned behavior that when you become an adult, instead of adulting, you've managed to get away your whole life with lying. And so you just keep doing it because it feels good at the end of the day. I don't know how people can lay their head down on a pillow at night and go to sleep knowing that they have blatantly lied on somebody or blatantly told you a lie straight to your face. I don't know. I'm just not that person. I have been told several times that I'm too honest, and I'm okay with being told that I'm too honest, even if it makes me look bad or it is a strike to my pride. I am always going to own up to things. But people have lied on me. That has happened. I mean, I'm not protected from that. I'm sure that there have been people that have lied on you. You could probably email me and tell me several things that people have lied on you about, and that it's so hard. I will tell you one thing that I have said since my early 20s has been there's one thing I cannot stand is to be called a liar about something that I know I'm telling the truth about, because it's hard to defend yourself against a liar because they have convinced themselves that they are telling the truth and they are blatantly lying and they know it. At the end of the day, they know it. You can't convince me that an adult is not aware that they are lying about something. You just can't. We know right from wrong. It is instilled in us. I don't care even if you weren't taught it. It is something that is inept in us from birth, that there's right from wrong. We all have a conscience. The good Lord all gave us a conscience, and what you do with that at the end of the day is on you. But if I mistreat somebody or I've done wrong by somebody, my conscience bothers me too bad. So I just don't, you know, I don't know how people will do it. Maybe somebody that is a habitual liar. I would love for you to email me. I would. I would just love to pick your brain and not to blast you publicly. I would never do that. But I am just genuinely, I want to know how you lay your head down at night and go to sleep, knowing that you have manipulated somebody by lying and you got away with something because that person either believed you, one, or either two, knew that you were lying, but you fought too hard to prove to them that they misheard you, or actually they're the liar, when all at the end of the day you're the liar.